Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of my free-to-play journey. In this video, I'll be focusing on the second week of the game. So that's when the Sagittarius Returns banner is going to be up and you can start first buying golden arrows, etc. So let me first start off with a bit of a background status update. In terms of my knights, I haven't actually moved too much from my video last week. This is partially because all of my diamonds have been going up to buy the golden arrows, and as you can see, I'm stocking them up. I'm not actually summoning many knights. So as a result, my main three knights that I use in the team, Agate, Misty, and Desmos, they are still kind of in 8 star slash 9 star section. But what's really holding me back is that I am missing a fifth knight who I meant to get 4 duplicates of. Originally in my resonance is Hound Asterion, who is still in my resonance, but the problem is that I only got 2 copies of him, so that's really holding me back because I'm not able to progress past level 140. So that's quite annoying, and I kind of have been held back as a result. But in all honesty, I'm actually okay with that for the time being because something else happened, which is that in the ranking list, I have been overtaken by someone else in terms of the story progression. Now, you may remember from the end of my last video, I was number 1 in terms of the story progression, so I managed to pass chapter 12 first, and also in the Dimension of Exile progression, I managed to pass stage 125 first. However, I have been overtaken in both scenarios by someone else. And if I actually look at this person is like a VIP 10 with a 6 star Shaka already. So this is going to be very tough competition. And I kind of almost accepted the reality that it's going to be hard for me to compete against this person, considering I'm free to play, he's VIP 10, right? So I'm going to be realistic. And now that I am being realistic with this fact that I am not going to be number 1 in terms of the progressions anymore, then what exactly am I rushing for? So there's because of that, I don't really worry too much about, I really want to break this bottleneck of going past level 140 because there's no real need for me to do so. And similarly, this is also kind of the first tip I'm going to give you today, which is hold back on a lot of your resources or those boxes until you actually have to. So I have recently started stocking up on all of my resource hourglasses because I realized that even if I open them, they are not going to make a massive difference to me. And the same with all of these hourglasses is that you get better return as you progress more story maps and more stages. On my main account, I am currently in chapter 29, and each hourglass can bring me 100 plus magic stone. Right now, early on in this game, I can only get 59 hourglasses. Obviously, I'm not going to wait till all the way till chapter 29, but this just shows, as you progress more story stages, you are going to get slightly better return on your hourglasses. And whilst the return on each one of them seems minor, right? I'm maybe only going from 59 to 60 or 61. If you actually have a huge number of them, then that is going to make up a difference in the long run. So that's kind of the decision I've taken, is that I am going to save up on all of my resources for the time being until there's a need to use that. And I encourage all of you to do the same as well. Right? If you realize that using all of your resources are not going to help you to achieve a certain goal, then there's no reason to use them. Right? Don't think of a goal as simple as I want to break through my death mask to level 161 so I can unlock a new skill. Think realistically what this new skill can actually achieve for you. Would this new skill allow you to all of a sudden, push through a whole chapter in front of other people? Probably not. Would this new skill suddenly make you, able to get into the top 4 of the arena? Right? Just think about, what does this extra kind of breakthrough will actually mean to you? And now that you realize exactly what's that gonna help, you can then decide, okay, then is it worth for me to actually use up all of my resources to try to reach that goal or not? Is it going to help me to reach that goal in the first place? So, I strongly recommend everyone to think about that before you open up your resources and just have a think about, whether right now is a time that you absolutely need to use them or actually there's no real rush and you can wait for a bit longer and to get better return on them instead. So that's going to be my first tip to you guys. Then the second tip and the kind of the main thing I want to talk through in this video is actually about golden arrows, right? So you are always going to get your first Sagittarius event. Which golden arrow knight would you want to summon? So as you can see here, I'm stocking up all of mine, and I'll explain my rationale. So first of all, let's talk about all of the golden arrow characters. I'm gonna use this box here, which is quite nice. So this box shows all of the golden arrow characters, with the exception of Leo Iki, who is only recently released in the game, and we don't have one right now in this free selection. Also, Libra Doko, even though he counts as one of the more rare knights, he is not actually someone you can summon from Golden Arrow either. So ignore Libra Doko. So out of the remaining one, you essentially have the big five plus Sagittarius. I definitely don't recommend summoning our Sagittarius because Sagittarius Aurorus, that is. I don't recommend summoning our Sagittarius Aurorus because I believe he is not strong enough of a single carry to some of the other knights, and also he faced a lot of fierce competition in the fire element front. Even if you're going down a formation of like this, 3 fire and 2 earth, Sagittarius is gonna struggle to break into that. So Sagittarius Aurorus is gonna struggle to break into that. Being one of the more rare knights, you probably have your Aris Mu or Leo Aurora in front of him, purely in terms of star level, and then you have your Agati and potentially Sagittarius Seiya as well. He just faced really tough competition in the fire element section that I don't think he's worth it. I also don't recommend Across Hyuga because Across Hyuga you really need a freezing synergy formation, and all the knights who are able to freeze enemies are in wind element, and early on in the game you are just not going to get enough resources, enough food to level up multiple wind element knights all at once. So I also don't recommend Across Hyuga if you need to pick one. Then out of the remaining ones, Libra is not a bad choice. If you are going down like a water formation, he is probably one of the best water knights alongside with Desma. The only problem with this is that if you are going down this route, you are kind of forcing yourself to be using Desmas also in your formation, because that's kind of the only reason why I see anyone get Libra is that you kind of want to go for a multiple water element in your formation. And I'm just gonna be honest, Desmas, while he is good, he is not quite at the same level against Sagittarius Seiya and Volgoshun, and the meta is gonna keep on evolving, and Desmas is gonna be less and less useful. So whilst Desmas is still super strong now, if you actually think about the long term point of view, then I probably wouldn't suggest Libra either. And that leaves us 3 knights, which is Sagittarius Seiya, Volgoshun, and also Leo Iki. Sagittarius Seiya and Volgoshun, those are by far the 2 best knights I think you can pick from your 5-star, from your Golden Arrow. They are both ridiculously good, and they created a whole meta by themselves. Now, granted, the meta is actually potentially going to change in the future when more newer knights are released. So yes, whilst they are currently in the meta right now, they may not actually stay in the meta for very long. However, the pure power of those 2 are able to carry you at least to kind of, chapter 26 onwards for sure, 100%, just the 2 of them. So just from that perspective, even if you're not thinking it from the PvP landscape, I think those 2 are still very good choices for you to pick. And also, them by themselves, they also come with other benefits. Sagittarius Seiya is one of the knights who is able to interrupt opening skill. So that by itself makes Sagittarius Seiya already worth summoning for. And Virgo Shun is very good in boss battles. So, they are not just able to do their crazy combo, but they also have some other uses outside of that as well. So, they are definitely 2 very good knights. However, I would strongly suggest you consider Leo Iki as well. And the main reason why I suggest you to consider Leo Iki is actually, if you are recently starting the game, then you wouldn't have too many golden arrows. Both Sagittarius Seiya and Virgo Shun are golden arrow characters. And for Virgo Shun to really work, you need to unlock his clothes. So that's at least 4 copies. For Sagittarius Seiya, ideally you want his constellation, so that's 8 copies. So that by itself is already 12 copies of a knight that you need to summon from Golden Arrow. So that's really resource intensive. But if you actually think about what can 12 copies do to a Leo Iki, he can bring your Leo Iki to like what 13 stars, 14 stars? I don't actually know, but I think at least around 12, 13 stars for sure. And that's gonna be a massive uh, improvement when you have some one knight who is able to carry by himself rather than you need to split out the resources between Seiya and Vergoshin. What I was just talking about purely summoning Golden Arrow, but you also have to think about the other resources you need to do. For example, to unlock his clothes, to level up his clothes and constellation, they are also resources. With all of the resources you need to spend on Sagittarius Seiya and Vergoshin, you can probably get Leo Iki so much better with full constellation and full armor. And that's gonna actually be very interesting. And also, Sagittarius A and Virgoshin, like I said, in the PvP landscape, I think gradually they will be going out of meta. Leo Iki, I don't think he will be coming back to the meta, but he won't be too far behind either. So the fact that you're able to pick a single character to as opposed to diversify your resources into two different knights, I think that's a very interesting choice for you to consider. So I definitely wouldn't rule out Leo Iki. Okay, so now I talk about all of these options. Exactly what am I going to do? I'll briefly talk about my source. So right now, I was initially planning to go down the Leo Iki route, in all honesty, because I just believe that, rather than trying to diversify all my resources into two knights who together may not be able to kill someone, who is much higher level. If I have Leo Iki subsequently a really high level, so let's say 16 stars, a full maxed out constellation and armor against two Seiya and Virgoshin only at 11 or 12 stars, my Leo Iki is going to win that battle. So I was actually thinking of using my Leo Iki almost as a bit of an anti-meta against people who have lots of Seiya and Virgoshin. However, what changed my mind is the fact that I managed to pull Sagittarius Seiya normally through my normal summons, and also there's this event right now where, like I said, you can actually get a free copy of one Golden Arrow Knight of your choice, and Leo Iki, because only released recently, is not available here. So one of the huge advantage of Leo Iki as opposed to Virgo Shun's Sagittarius Seiya is that theoretically, because I only need to level up one knight, I should be managed to do that a bit more efficiently in terms of my resource. However, if I actually look at the copies of the knights that I'll be getting, I am actually going to be two knights behind because Leo Iki is not available here, and I don't have a Leo Iki naturally right now, whereas I have a Sagittarius Seiya naturally right now. So I actually think that okay, maybe in my particular case, then maybe going down Sagittarius Seiya and Virgo Shun is still a viable option.